Can everybody hear me all right? Sound check 1 2. Sound check 1 2. Perfect. All right. Forgive some of the background noise. There's some storms that are rolling through here, and Oklahoma is suddenly going from summer to winter, and when that happens, you get big storms. So anyway, we'll dive into some stuff here in a little bit, but I just wanted to, I don't know, I wanted to throw it out there. And I see what Litecoin fam is throwing in the channel. At everyone. Oh, there we go. All right. Good point. Good point. Hang on 1 second. All right. Sorry about that. Just wanted to get that was a good point by Litecoin fam. Very nice. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. There's some things technically that on Discord and stuff that I still don't understand. So if you guys can help me with that, that would be awesome. But anyway, so what we were talking about in the polls channel is, and this really hits me kind of the core, guys, is that I hate charging for anything. I really do. I mean, it just I don't want to be one of those guys that charges people for something. But I come on every night, or try to, and I go over charts and I try to teach people, and I put my donation thing out there. And I've had like 2 donations probably in the last 3 months or 2 months. And I mean, it hurts, obviously. I really would have thought that, and maybe, I don't know, maybe my charts suck. I don't know. Maybe you only get what if something was good, then maybe you only get what you put out there. But anyway, I don't think I've made a bunch of bad calls or anything like that. I mean, obviously there's been some stuff that has happened that if you take your stops and you play it right, maybe I should be more specific. I'm sure everybody would probably agree with that, and maybe I'll start doing that. It's just hard with a full-time job. I'm doing the best I can, and it wears me down a little bit. So that's why I tend to look at the longer term stuff. But anyway, so I'll leave it at that. If you guys disagree with me, and I'm not saying I'm doing it right, but I was throwing it out there, is that would everybody think that $10 for a one-time charge to get everything I'm doing in a special room is worth it? Raise your hand or say something. Or do you think it's a ripoff? I mean, I'm not going to be charging a monthly fee, or anything like that. It's just a one-time deal. Just a one-time deal. $10. Hey, Patrick, I appreciate it. Abraham, thanks. Or Abram, I'm sorry. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. So we'll see. It's still something I'm I'm struggling with. I feel like, I mean, I've done it myself in the past. Is that I've gone on certain places, got curious about something, and spent money for it, but it wasn't what I thought. You know what I mean? And so I don't want people to come back on me and go, well, man, I paid you $10 and, it's not what I thought. Well, that's why I want to go to a one-time fee. You pay $10. If you like it, you like it. You continue to like it. And if you don't like it, then you exit, you leave, you go somewhere else, So that's kind of my thoughts. All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and delve into some charts here real quick. Let's go ahead and look at like the Coinbase exchange for Bitcoin, right? Oh, you think monthly? Wow. Well, we'll see. I appreciate it. I do. And that's something I'll look into. I'm not making any rash decisions, or I'm not going to do anything like immediately. But it's something I'll look into. I'm still just having a hard time with it. But anyway, so let's go ahead and go over to the charts. Because I know that a lot of you guys out there, you're just getting into crypto, and you may not have a lot of money, or you're using your money for crypto. That's why I did the donation thing, is that if you make money off a call of mine, then just donate. That's all you have to do. I don't care if it's $2 or $200. I don't care, So let's go ahead and delve into the charts. Patrick, let's go ahead and I'm not even going to go to. We'll do Bitcoin later. Let me go to because ETH seems to be kind of like what everybody is really struggling with right now. So let's go ahead and look at it. This is your daily chart. And this was done, last time I updated, I think, was probably a day or so ago. Let's go ahead and take out the 50% retracement because it got out of that. It broke that, right? And that's why I don't think the 50% retracement is like, it's not like it's something. It can be something, but it's not a major fib retracement. So where did it stop? Basically, it's pretty simple, okay? And you have to, and we'll go backwards here, right? Because I'm looking at a daily chart. So from this high to this low, okay, we broke through the 38.2, we broke through the 50, and it's stopping now right here at the 61.8, which is a strong fib retracement number, okay? Strong one. The good news for bulls is that it's back above the 10 EMA, and you can see the nice bounce right here when it broke through, and it just held that area. And like you say, we'll have to delve into this like on a lower time frame chart and look at it. But keep this in the back of your mind on ETH, is that you've got a strong resistance area right here, okay? You got the 200 and the 233 EMA, or simple moving averages, just above, as well as the upper Bollinger Band, okay? So keep this area in mind. I mean, if it can get past this area, if it can get past 211, then it's off to the races. I mean, I don't think it'll have any problem taking out this high over here, and it'll probably march on up here to 246. But that's a big if, right? So what we want to see, can it hold the 20-day moving average, which it broke above and now it's testing, right? This is huge. This is a huge area and a big test for Ethereum if it wants to stay bullish, right? That's a big area right there. So now let's go back and look at a 4-hour chart, which is what you're pointing to. And you want to know if it's a bull flag. Okay, let's do this. And I will throw on, and forgive the cats. Sorry, you hear a meow going on there. That's one of my cats. She's pissed. Um, let's see here. Let's do this. And let's do this. So, I mean, could it be? You know, I mean, if you're drawing it from, you know, the wicks, it's not really, but if you draw it from the bodies, you probably could be. Could be a, you know, bull flag. I'm not going to hang my hat on it right now. So let's get rid of that. But right this area, you can draw that trend line for sure. All right. So if it gets above it, then it could break out. You know, maybe take on the 61.8 and go higher. But what it needs to hold is this area down in here. You see this big green candle right here? And see how it took out this over here, and I'll show you. So that area right there was resistance. Okay? See that resistance? I just drew that simple line. It came up, hit this area, and then dropped. Right? Didn't like it. Now it tested it again, didn't like it, but now it's broken through it. And this is something you guys need to watch on support, old support, new resistance. This area right here, look over, just draw it, and it's simple. Just draw a line, right? Horizontal ray. Horizontal ray on your chart. Just draw that. So that was resistance. It didn't like it, right? Dropped down, but then it quickly recovered and got back above it. So now what we want to see is if this area holds. So if ETH drops, you want to see 185 hold, that area, right? Which also happens to be these, you know, the 200 and 233 moving averages right here. You want to see that area hold. And so I'm almost kind of thinking that the way this looks to me is that it could just kind of consolidate a little bit. It could still hold this 10 EMA and then go higher. But what one would want to see probably from a health point of this is come down and hit this and then just take off, right? That's what I would want to see. I would want to see it. This right here looks like, I know some people are talking about dead cat bounce, and it possibly could be. That could be just a dead cat bounce, you know, up in here. But man, when you break above that resistance line right there, if it holds this area, then those guys may get fooled. So anyway, keep an eye on the 185 area on Ethereum. Okay? Just keep an eye on that. Any questions? All right, Patrick, let me go to Ethereum or ETC. I'm sorry. Excuse me. That's Ethereum right there, 4-hour chart. So let me go ahead and I'll take that out. And let's go look at ETC. So ETC was one of those I was like, keep an eye on, right? Just keep an eye on it and let's see what happens. Looked pretty good. Doesn't like the 200 over the 233 day moving average right now. That's a good first test. Now you want to see if it can hold the lower Bollinger Band and hold this low right over here. And I always find it amazing how things line up, right? So let's just, if I can get that line on there. Hang on. There we go. There we go. And I'll change that to green because that's support. So this is your area to watch for ETC. Right here. That's what, 5708, 5700. That's your area to watch. Okay. And I'll get rid of this because I think I did that on a daily chart. It was like a bullish divergence. That's what I was looking at. Didn't quite play out like I thought it would, but that's what happens with markets. They don't always go the way you want. That's why you have to have stop losses and so forth. Let's go look at a daily chart. Daily chart. And this is getting interesting. So it comes up, it tests the upper Bollinger Band. It's all these moving averages are really tight. Okay. One could consider, let's look at this. Let's see if that was a bearish engulfing. And it was. Okay. So this right here, this little candlestick pattern gives me pause whenever I see that. But what one would want to see is follow through and confirmation, right? So this could turn into, it could go two ways. And this is why you have to be patient with candlesticks. Is that if you get another red candle, okay, and let's just say it comes down here and closes around here, I wouldn't be all excited about it, right? It's not it closed back below the 20-day moving average and the 10 EMA, okay? It's trying to regain it. These Bollinger Bands are getting really tight because if we squeeze in and look at this chart a little closer on an expanded view, these Bollinger Bands are getting really tight. So you're looking for a move to happen probably within the next few days. I would give it a couple of days. I don't know that I would be like all fired up about, because I really thought when this happened, I thought it would go and break up above that way. But it hasn't done it yet. I still, God, I'm just, right now, I'm just kind of pausing right now. I don't know. I'm indecisive about this one. So when I'm indecisive, stay away. Just stay away. There's other charts that look better. This could still be bullish, but if it breaks below here, then it's dropping a lot farther. Okay? The USD version of ETC. Let's look. Hang on. Okay, so this one's easy. Here's what you got. And I've left, obviously I looked at this one on the USD version too. Back over here, you had support, bounced off of it, struggled along, and then it broke below. Now, you can see where it can't get above is this area right over here. Okay? You get above this area right here and it takes off. But again, look at the Bollinger Bands. This is why sometimes you have to be patient and let these, come back to you. Is that, this is going to squeeze together, right? Now, the good thing about this, and we'll see if it holds or not, is the 10 EMA. So watch the 10 EMA and see if it can hold above it. If it can, then watch for a move to the upside and a possible move of the 10 crossing the 20. And if that happens, it's like any of the moving averages, and I preach this and preach it. It's like when you can get these moving averages going in the right direction, then it just acts as support, right? So go back and look at any chart, and what happens is when you get these moves that happen to the upside, your 10 and your 20 are your areas to watch. The 10 being the first, right? So if it holds this area and it can curl around and go up, then that's going to be support. And then you want to drop your stop, your trailing stop. If you want to hold on long and ride it out, drop your stop to the 20-day moving average or just below it. because it'll come back and test it, or just above it, and then go higher, right? So this is where swing trades take place, right? So everybody wants to get in on that one quick one, but what's happening is people FOMO into it, and then what happens? You get retracement. Okay? You get retracement. It always happens every time. So watch this one and see. We got the Bollinger Bands getting tighter. Let's just see if it can curl up, right? Okay, Abram, let me check ADA. Do you want the BTC or the USD? You want the BTC pair or USD? ADA. ADA. I'll go. I'm sure I'm probably on a little bit of a delay, but I'll go to the. Oh, you're welcome, Patrick. My pleasure. I'll go to the BTC on ADA. All right. So obviously I haven't looked at this one in a couple of days, but let's go ahead and take out from, obviously from this high to this low, it broke through the 50. And this is what you have to do. You have to just move it out of the way. Broke through the 50, broke through the 61.8, briefly got above the 78.6, but you can see it's and that wick right there is just resistance, right? So it did get above the 78.6 barely, but then reversed hard off of it. So that's one that, the 78.6 is always a tough one. Right now, I would say on this one, I don't like that candle pattern right there at all. That's a semi-reversal pattern when you get a big green stick, doji, and a red stick, and then a follow-through red stick. That's caution, right? I mean, it still could just hold the 20-day moving average right here. It's in between it's actually, look at this, 10, 20, and 50 EMAs are all bunched together right there. Okay? They're all bunched together. So anything below this low, right over here, which is what, let's just call it 475. Anything below that, you're probably going lower to test these lows. Okay? And your stochastic RSI has got momentum to the downside. Excuse me. Not saying it's totally bearish, but I didn't like the fact that it didn't make a higher high. Okay? You had a higher high from there to here, but then it couldn't make a higher high here. So use caution. Have stop losses. I mean, I still think that alts are in a pattern to where they are, trying to bottom out. And that this is going to be, we're going into that time of year where, people are putting money to work and it's the holidays coming up and alts are going to run. That's just my view. And they've not only that, but they've been destroyed. So you're getting them at cheap prices. Could they get cheaper? Sure they could, but all right. So let's go look at, and if you guys have any chart requests, just throw them in the channel. I'll get to them. Okay. But let's go look at Bitcoin. Everybody wants to know about Bitcoin. So what's fascinating to me, and I'm so glad that I remembered to put the 233-day moving average on here. And this is what blows my mind about moving averages, is that once it broke below here, look where it's been hanging out. It's been hanging out between the 200 and the 233-day moving average. Just, you can't get back above the 200, but the 233 is holding it. We are holding the 10 EMA, but we can't get above the 20-day EMA right here. Okay? We still have this fib cluster right above, and as I said, that's a strong one. That's a very strong one, because if I zoom in, okay, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a 127.2 and a 38.2 retracement. The 127.2 is the one from a longer fib retracement, or the 38.2 is, and the 127.2 is from a shorter one. That's why I do fib clusters. And Being Crypto put a tweet out there, and he even posted it in channel. I've got a video on there about how to do fib clusters. Pretty simple. A lot of people just like to draw one fib retracement, right? They're like, okay, well, I'm going to draw it from here to here. Well, you don't have to do that. You can do it from here to here, and you can do it from here to here. Do it from multiple areas, and that's where you come up with more important resistance or support levels. That's your defining area, right? That's how you do it. And it's a daily thing. Or not really a daily thing, actually, from a daily chart point of view, but it's something you have to watch over time, and you adjust it, right? So you got major resistance right here at 8,900, and you got major support at 7,430. Okay? But right now we're stuck, and here's the thing. Look at this. These Bollinger Bands are now, after we had this big drop and everybody thought we was going all the way to what I see some people calling like 4,000. We're going back to the bottom, or we're going to 6,000. No. Price does not stay outside the Bollinger Bands like it did back in here. And I think I'll go back and post, or look at my posts. I talked about it getting back inside the Bollinger Bands, right? That's what happens. You get too far outside Bollinger Bands, and you have to come back in, and price consolidates. And so it comes back in. Now it's testing the 200-day moving average, holding the 233, and here we are. These Bollinger Bands are getting tight. See how the Bollinger Bands spread out when you make the drop? Now they're curling back up to go meet each other, just like back in here, or back in here. So we could go sideways for a while. And what does that do for alts? It's bullish. If Bitcoin can stay stable, then alts are bullish. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. So we could actually, if it gets above the 200, go to 8,900, and if it breaks that, you go up here, and I don't think it gets much further than 9,300. It's going to hit the 50-day EMA. The upper Bollinger Band is dropping every day. So this area right up in here would be major, major resistance. Not only that, but you got the upper portion of this big bull flag that I posted, which at some point I think is going to break, right? But it's just a matter of when. Okay? And I've talked about this in previous live streams, but I think it just kind of consolidates in here. We could still see another drop and maybe even down into the 6,600 range. I mean, I don't want to see that. I want to see it hold right here, and I'll go over to a weekly chart here in a minute. In fact, I'll do it right now. Let's go look at a weekly chart. All right. So the reason I do not want to go below 7,400 is because of this. That is a big time support area right there. Okay? And price has come all the way back down to test that area. So from a longer term point of view, one would think that Bitcoin goes higher from here, right? But there's still resistance. You got this right here. It's that 8,900 to 9,000 area. That's where your 10 and your 20-day moving averages are, the EMAs. The 50 is holding, and we're trying, even though this candle still is not closed, we're trying. It's trying to bounce off this. But that 9,000 area is going to be a mother to get through. Now, if it does, then price will go higher, okay, over time. But it's going to retrace and come back down because your moving averages are going to turn as price goes up. But what we do not want to see is we do not want to go below 7,400 because what that'll do is it'll start getting these turning back down. The 10 will cross the 20, right? Price will come down in here. 10 crosses the 20, and that's not a good thing because the 10 now all of a sudden keeps driving price lower. Okay? And then we could end up back down into here. We don't want to see that happen. Okay? And here's an expanded out view. So we want to see this area right in here hold and then go higher off that. And then, as I've been saying all along, okay, what did I say a long time ago, guys? Oops, here we go. Moving averages. Look at this. This was the big move right here. And if we scrolled back and went back, people got scared when it came, and this is going all the way back to 2017, coming back to test that 200, 233, and once it did and held it, boom. So, what happens when you get below those? Right? Price just does that. It just goes lower, lower, lower. And here we go. We're in this area again. We got to hold this area. We got to hold those moving averages and then go higher off that. All right. Sorry to ramble. And then not only that, but look at the Bollinger Bands. They're going to get tight. They're going to get tight right in here. This is a daily chart. They're going to get tight. And then we'll find out if Bitcoin goes down here or if it breaks out to the upside. I mean, you got your stochastic RSI toppy up here. But it's been toppy back in the past. And price just kind of went sideways. So this could be one of those deals where Bitcoin goes sideways for who knows, maybe a month. And then let altcoins do their deal, and then Bitcoin finally takes over. Let's go look at, I'm going to switch back over. Let's go look at the dominance chart. So it didn't quite make it all the way down to here. It's, this, my Elliott wave, so-called, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correction. But it did, and you have to admit, it did kind of what I thought it might do, even though the price didn't come all the way down here. But I thought, man, this thing could just, keep dropping, which it did. Not as far as we wanted, but still it helped altcoins. We'll see what happens when it gets up here. If it fails up in this area at 70, if it wants to get up there, then it's going lower. And it could come down and do the same as what Bitcoin did. It could come back and test in this area. And what do you think alts are going to do if it comes back and tests down in here? 65, 66. Just something to keep in the back of your mind, right? I'm not saying it's going to get down here, but you guys know me, and altcoin or moving averages get tested. This thing could turn, and look at these shorter term moving averages. If it doesn't get back above 70, then these moving averages are going to keep hooking down and come back and test the 200 and the 233. Right? It's just ebb and flow. The moving averages, once they start to turn, unless they can get back above, and especially like the 50 right here, and that's at 70. If dominance can't get back above 70 and close above it and start to rally, then this thing is coming all the way down. Now there's a big fib cluster right in here, which was close to where it, it hit the 78.6. Could still go lower. We'll see. All right, so that's Bitcoin. Any questions, or anybody want to ask me a question or anything? Everybody's quiet. I like to see some chat. Questions, chart requests? If not, I'll throw on my futures chart. And I'm going to refresh this page because it's got blurry. Hang on. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's my futures chart. And forgive all the lines because I was doing some stuff, especially like right over here, I was doing a lot of fib stuff. Similar to basically the regular chart, is that the Bollinger Bands are starting to hook off, like coming back into each other, right? This one started to curl, and amazingly enough, it curled right at the 200-day moving average. Amazing how that works. So this is going to curl up. It's going to act as support. This one's going to act as resistance, and price is going to, it's just going to come back in and get tight, just like back in here. or like back in here. Okay? So be patient and don't feel like you're going to miss out on some big, huge move. The squeeze indicator is starting to lose momentum on the short side with these yellow bars, right? Remember me talking about, it went short back in here. Short, short, short. Hold on, hold on, hold on. And there you go. You get a yellow bar losing momentum. And when I see something like this, it almost tells me, unless it's a head fake, that price could try to work its way higher. But we'll see. It could just go back right into a squeeze area where nothing is going on, no bars. It just goes sideways. But again, until it breaks above these moving averages, it's a no-go. That's why you don't want to add longs into that just yet, right? Let things play out. Let the moving averages tell you that everything is safe. If I zoom in, right? This is a good sign. Can it hold that 10 EMA? If it does, and it starts to work its way up after this, then take it. Ride it up to the 8,900 area. Possibly even up into here. This will be an area to watch, right? So we'll see what happens. Okay, question. Cinematographers. Do you start accumulating alts when... that's actually a good question. Let me back that out. So, I guess when you start to see something like... Let's just zoom out, right? On Bitcoin dominance. Let's just go back and look at this. And obviously that's a beautiful chart, right? Trend line, held it, goes higher. I just think that for me, when you look at individual charts and you see one of them or two of them have that pattern, and it just looked to me when I saw, which one was it? Was it Link or EOS, or it was one of those. And I just started to see, I was like, man, that looks like a bottoming pattern. I was sitting there, it held a low. Let's go look at EOS. Because I think it was back in, it wasn't back in May, obviously, but let's go look at this. Yeah, it was like back in here. It was kind of like when it held this area, and I'm one of those that I've been around the market long enough, and I learned a lesson, and actually I'll tell you a quick story. This was back in, I think it was 2015, or no. Yeah, it was 2015. It was toward the end of 2015, and I was trading options on the S&P 500. And there was so much talk about oil prices, and oil prices were dictating what the market was doing. And there was rumors, and price was getting really volatile. And I saw a pattern where, and I'd seen it before, and luckily for me, it worked out pretty good, although I didn't hold it long enough. But it was similar to this, and I'll just show you. Okay? And this is a classic move in the market, right? Is that when you see something come down and it makes a low and it comes up, you're going, okay, this is bullish, right? And then all of a sudden it comes back and it wants to test the low, but then it makes a barely below these, right? It's almost like they clear out the stops, they come back down, they clear a few more, and then they take off, right? And I saw this pattern and I was like, wait a second, this is looking very familiar. And I'll show you. I'll even put the chart up here. Hang on. I'll just go back to that date. I mean, this just absolutely blows my mind. This was back in 2016 or late 2015. And this was actually, if you guys can believe this, this was actually the bottom of the market. And here it is. Does this look familiar? Look at this. And I'm going to refresh this page. So it'll look better. All right, so this is the S&P on a daily chart back in, like I said, well, actually it was okay. So my memory's not that great. But look at this. And I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it closer. Let's make sure I'm on the right. Oh, wait a second. I'm way off. Hang on. There we go. Here we go. And that actually would have been a good example too. But look at this. So you had this low over here, comes up, rally, 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 and then all of a sudden we're coming down. And then it made a briefly lower low and then took off. And then look what happened after. That was the low of that entire move. And look what happened. It just turned. Bull market. And then, of course, what you have to watch for, too, is that, you know, when you get those moves, big bull moves, all of a sudden you get this, and then you get a V, right? You get a V recovery, and this is where we're at now. And so I've seen a lot of people talk about, okay, well, you know, this market's going to crash. It's, you know, Trump's in trouble, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, I get it. We had a double top up here, right? But strong support right here, and you got these moving averages coming up. So until it breaks this area right in here, nah, not falling for it. But you got to watch for those ones where they sneak that little lower low, barely, and then they turn price. They go hunting for stops, or people have stop losses there, and that's what those hit. So, anyway. Any chart requests? Anything else? Let's look at... I'll just keep going into some other stuff here. DGB. Just kind of holding that 100 area. All right? Just kind of holding that 100 area. It's at the upper part of the Bollinger Band. Still riding the 10 EMA. So could still possibly come down to 96. Anything below that and you come down to the 90 area and then retest the trend line. And that trend line has been golden, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then boom. That's DGB. Dogcoin, I'm still, let's see, I want to take out the 38.2 on this since it broke that. A little disappointed this hasn't gone yet. But it's one of those that doesn't exactly give you a lot of warning, as obviously seen back in here. So it could be like a news-related event or something. Who knows with Dogcoin? But it's one of those I threw a small amount of money at. So we'll see. ZRX. That's been a strong one. Man, that's been strong. But man, look at this. I mean, this is bullish. I mean, it's back above, came back. It was above the Bollinger Bands, came back inside, and now it's right back above it. And right back above it at a fib cluster, right in here, with stochastic RSI right at the top. So here pretty quick, I would think, unless it makes one last gasp higher. I would think that ZRX probably pulls back in. I would, if me, probably be looking for it at around the 25 cent area. Maybe even, I would put like a small amount at 25 and then the bigger amount probably at 23 to 24. Link. Link. Let's take a look at Link. This is the USD version, unless you want the other one. So it got stopped at the 127.2 retracement, which if I highlight my mouse over the retracement, you can see where I drew it from. Right? From here down to here. Now, I probably could have gone from here to here, and it probably would have hit spot on. But I go with the most recent high. Golly, I think that Link really needs to retrace. I really do. And I think it would be healthy if it did. But who knows, man? I mean, this thing is so volatile that it could just go parabolic, right? It could just go right straight through all this. Again, I have no idea what this thing does. I heard somebody, I can't remember what the news was about it one day at Google, or they had some partnership with somebody. I can't remember. Anyway, I don't know. I think looking at this, right? And let's just do this too. Let's just do let's do a ray. Yeah, I hate it when it does that. Okay, well, I can't draw the line that I wanted to draw. It just didn't like it when I'm doing this in here. But if you draw a line from, on your indicator, from either here to here to here to here, it's trying to break below that. And look how overbought it is. Now, I've been a proponent, and I've said before, that things can stay overbought for periods of time. They can, right? Obviously, you can look at it right here. It was overbought, dipped, and then went right back to overbought, so it could dip here and go back to overbought. But at some point, it's like musical chairs, right? That chair is going to come out, and you're left, whoa, what the hell happened there? So, oops. Let me get that other. There we go. So, I don't know. I mean, God, it's bullish. There's no doubt it's bullish. But if you're back in here and you got in at the 10 and the 20 EMAs, and you're riding it up and you just keep trailing your stop, and this is what I talked about earlier on your stops, is that, look at this. If you get in when it crosses and closes above the 10 EMA, right? Like right here, put your stop in at the 20 EMA or just slightly below it, and then just trail it up. Each day, move your stop up where just below the 20 EMA. And so That way you have no stress. And then take profit along the way. Get your initial investment out plus some profit, and then just trail it up the rest of the way. And if it hits it, it hits it. And if it hits it, that usually means it's probably going to go down a little bit lower to the 50 and maybe even below it. And then you just catch the next wave. It's patience. This takes days, and this is a daily chart. This is not a 4-hour chart. That's not a 1-hour chart. Although you could play it that way on those time frames, right? But this is a daily chart, and this is where you maximize your gains. I mean, imagine being in here at 182, and all of a sudden, you're getting close to 3. That's a $1 move plus. Good percentage gain. And so after a good percentage gain like that, I would be tempted to take some profits, right? One way or the other. I wouldn't sell it all. I would leave some. I would leave some on the table. And then I would see if these Bollinger Bands, right? Because look at these Bollinger Bands, they're getting spread far apart from each other. At some point, what happens? What happens when the Bollinger Bands get so far apart from each other? They all come back to meet each other at some point. But what causes that? Price. It has to turn, right? So let's see if Link maybe over time, and this is going to take a while. It could be by Halloween. It could be, early November. Let's just see if the Bollinger Bands bring it back into this area right in here, the 230 area, by the end of the month. Be patient. Don't FOMO into something just because you see one big, it's up, it was up. God, I mean, that's a huge move. That's like unbelievable. So let it consolidate and retrace back in here, and let's find out if people are really going to hold on to this thing for the long term. Because if they are, this move is nothing. They know it's coming back, right? They know it's coming back. This right here is FOMO. But the people that were smart were getting back in here when it held the 10 EMA. And then just rode the price up. And you got to love that. When it's 10 EMA holds the 20, gets above the 50, and then it's race on. And that right there is 10, 20, and 50, and it held all those right there at that time and made that huge move. Boom. That's huge. And then the BTC pair has just been, I posted this the other night. Okay. Held this fib cluster right here as support and the 200, 233, right? So this thing is long term, right? Look at the 200 and the 233. It's always come back and tested it, right? It makes parabolic moves at points, and this is another one. But what normally happens? It comes back and tests that area. So, although these prices are going up, it could come up into here and come back and test this. So these moving averages, you have to use your mind and just kind of think, where are these lines going? All right, these are your longer term moving averages. That's just support. That is long-term support. So what's going to happen is probably these lines right here over time are going to keep going up. And by November, they're going to be right in this area. Okay. So do you think price is going to just rocket right through this and go way too far above these? No, I don't. I think this is coming down. I think it's going to retrace, and I think it's going to consolidate probably in this area. And not only that, but you got that top right up there. But we'll see. We'll see. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But I just think it would be healthy if it came and like, let's just do this. Here's what I think would be nice. Let's just throw on a horizontal ray. Let's do this. This area right over in here was resistance, right? That ought to be support. This area right here should be support. It was resistance, right? It was a resistance right there. Now it broke through. It should be support. So keep an eye on that area. Let's look at, wow, one of the big winners of the day was RVN, Raven. And lo and behold, I don't know that I've changed anything on this since last time I saw. So there was one retracement, right? From this high to this low. And I was doing that to see what would happen as it came up, where resistance would be. It broke through the 38.2, the 50, the 61.8, and the 78.6. Here's your 127.2. And then I had this 78.6 retracement from this high to this low. That is a fib cluster right here. So amazingly, price is stalling in this area. It's not a magic trick, guys. That is what fib clusters do. You draw fibs from multiple areas, right? And you get things that line up on each other, right? 454 to 463. That is resistance area. That is resistance. And I'm sure I could probably, and I haven't done it, I could go back even farther, right? And although I don't think the 23.6, I don't even think it's hit that. If I was to do a fib retracement from there to the low down here, let's take that out, that out, and that out, that out, and let's do the 23.6. Yeah, see, it haven't even hit the 23.6 yet, which amazingly enough is right at the 200 and 233 from that high to the all-time low. All right, so if Raven coin does go kind of, and if you was to zoom in, it would look parabolic, right? But in the bigger scheme things, it would just look like a correction or the start of something. Then this is your area, 621. But that's going to take time. I'll take a little bit of time unless some news comes out, and you never know with these things. But something to keep in mind too is that the 200 has crossed through the 233, right? And it's hooking down. So when price comes up, it's going to meet, if it meets this, that's going to be big time resistance. So don't be expecting like, although some people might, Don't be expecting 800, 900, any of that stuff. That's your area if it keeps on this upward trajectory. But first and foremost, this area right here that we're dealing with is resistance. So I would think one would think that maybe it comes back into this area. I mean, here's what I do love about Raven, and it's like all charts, right? Almost all charts. I love this right here. Price coming down, moving averages coming down, gets tight, and then all of a sudden the moving averages are starting to turn. 10, 20, 50. That's bullish, guys. That is bullish. That is buy the dip. That is buy the dip right there. Okay? That is buy the dip. So it's hitting resistance. Let it dip if it does. If you're long, great. Stay in it. I mean, get your initial investment out if you got in early and let the rest ride. Because this is bullish. That's a bullish move. And it's going higher in my opinion. All right, so that's Raven Coin. Any other questions or chart requests? Oh, come on. Come on, guys. You have to have something else. Oh, man. Oh, my God. Elliot. Oh, how did I forget about that one? Did I not just mention this one here a while back and say something was getting ready to happen? Oh, my God. Matic was like, look at this, guys. Just Bollinger Band so tight it was consolidating, and I think my memory is so bad these days, but I thought I talked about this move up higher, and then it consolidated, and then you get your next move higher. And when you see this getting tight, it's just a matter of when is it going to happen, right? So you could stay in this for, look at this. It was a month. I mean, actually over a month. This is like a month-long consolidation, and then it finally busts out, right? So let me get these. It broke through that fib cluster right there. Let me get rid of some of this stuff because it broke through it. Wow, what a move! What a move! Let's get rid of that. Let's put in, just in case it goes higher, let's put in the 261.8. Well, let's get rid of the 261.8. It took that out. And let's go to the 461.8. There we go. And we'll take out that 127.2. And wow. Wow. Take out that 78.6. Okay, so where did it stop? You can see I just pulled this chart up. I haven't updated anything, right? It wasn't like I predetermined all this stuff. I had these fib retracements already in there, and look where it stopped. 161.8 right here. And there's some resistance right over here. This thing could actually go a little bit higher. Let's go over here and look at this. Right over in here was some big resistance. So let's just kind of put it in the middle, right in there. So it's approaching an area, and not only that, but again, I hate to harp on it, guys. I really do. But you guys know what I feel about this. What does everybody see? What does everybody see? Price outside Bollinger Bands. All right. Now, let's check this out. And anybody that's bullish on Matic is going to like this. Okay. But I'm going to call it in advance. Let's do this. We're going to do a fib retracement, okay, from right here. And let's just assume, all right, that the 161.8 is the high, okay? And I'll get to this in a second, and I'll show you. 61.8. And let's throw in the 78.6. All right. So this pattern right here that you're seeing, and I'm going to move my mouse over it, this is called a 3 white soldiers, right? 1, 2, 3. See the big green candles? 1, 2, 3. It could do this fourth one. I'm highly doubtful of it, although it could happen. So if it does, then great. But if not, watch for a retracement back to the 61.8. Okay? And if it hits that 61.8 or even close into this area, I would be a buyer, right? Because 3 white soldiers technically retrace, although the textbook version says 50%, in my experience, it's always been the 61.8. So in this area, if this thing pulls back and comes back down, the 61.8 and maybe even the 78.6, I would say this area right in here, if it magically, and I mean, it would be a gift from God, if it comes back down into here, right here's your dip buying opportunity. 156 to 144. Right in that area. And then look at these moving averages. And again, 10 crossing the 20, holding it, and then just break out. All right? But look at the stochastic RSI. It's oversold. What we want to see is like maybe a dip back into the blue area, or maybe even hold this area, get price, and maybe even a red stick, right? Maybe not maybe tomorrow, or even, we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Could actually be a, I'm not even going to call it. I don't even want to. I think right in this area is the buy opportunity. Right there. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Anything else? That's Matic. What else did I have in here? TEL has been, well, you guys know how I feel about that one. That's a long term hold, and it's still just holding in this triangle. Bollinger Bands are real tight, but they could stay tight, as we've seen before. So this one may not play out until, God, who knows? It could be Thanksgiving or maybe even close to Christmas. We'll see. But I do like the fact that the 200 and 233 are coming down. They're getting closer. Everything's bunched up in here. So this one, just keep an eye on this one, guys. It could be one of those that just takes off, right? I wouldn't like throw my life savings at it. I would just, if you got like pizza money or something like that, maybe throw it at it. It could be one of those that maybe doubles it, and then you could buy, who knows, a lobster dinner or something. Or if it turns into something bigger. Let's see what else. VET. People ask me about VET. Here's another one. It's kind of like a vet, or I mean, not like vet, Matic, right? Just consolidating right in here. Let me get rid of that 61.8 because it broke that. 78.6. That's your key area right there. Get above that, she runs. That's your key area right there. So above 47, and she runs. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Had to use the restroom. All right. Not trying to get graphic or anything, but anyway. All right, guys. Chart requests. Anything you guys can think of? Is there something I'm missing? Thanks. Sorry about that. I had a coughing attack. Didn't want you guys to hear that. Okay, Quest for Harmony. SC. Oh my gosh, I remember that one. Let's see here. I think I still got that one in here. Yep, I'll get to bat here in just a moment, guys. Let me get Quest for Harmony done here real quick. Oh, I thought I had SC in there. I traded that one once. Let's go ahead and do the Binance chart. Yeah, I like BAT, by the way. SC is just, it's kind of, oh, wow, look at this. I mean, just nice little, look at this, guys. It's like everything else. It's like a bottoming pattern, right? Does anybody else see this? I mean, I'm just going to zoom the chart out a little bit, right? So, you know, we had this trying to be a bottom, right? You had this test up here of the 200, 233, not even, well, kind of got close. But then you had bang, bang, bang. And now all of a sudden we're trying to bottom out again. And so now the big question is going to be, can it get up into this area? So your key on SC, right? And let's just do this. I mean, it's all about fibs, right? And if I was a guessing man, I would say this is the 78.6. But let's see what we got. No, not there. What about from here? There we go. All right? So from this high to this low, 78.6. From this high, which was a wild spike, your 78.6 is up here. So, but bullish in the fact that the 10, the 20, they're all crossing, right? What's the difference? You may ask. Well, if you look back in here, you had the same sort of kind of thing, right? Does this look familiar? This little area back in here? So what we want to see for things to get really, really bullish is to get above the 200 and the 233. Specifically these right in here. So if you got in back at 15 and you're up at 23 or 26, hopefully you have some profits by now. If not, then just do this. If this is going to be really bullish, you want to hold on to this area. Period. It cannot go below 20. Okay? Can't close below 20. You do not want to close below that, especially after this kind of move. You can expect a retracement down to it, but you don't want to go back below it. Okay? So that's SC. Let's go look at BAT. And do you guys want the USD or BTC? USD. All right, so let's go look at the USD pairs. Excuse me. All right, so bat USD. There we go. Actually, I wonder if, hang on here. There we go. Let's look at Binance on bat. Well, let's just, I'll leave it there. USDC, it's not going to be much different. All right, so what do we got? And I haven't changed any of these fib numbers, by the way. Okay, these fib numbers have not changed. I can't do that. Hang on. I am going to have to change this one because it made a lower low. So let's do this. All right, got to remove that. And I got to remove this. So let's start over. All right, so you guys get to watch in live how I draw these fibs. Okay, so let's do daily chart. There we go. Get it out a little bit. All right, so let's go. Let's just start with the big one. Let's go up here, and we're just assuming that that's the low, right? Assuming. You have to assume that. Obviously, it can go lower. There's your 23.6, 38.2, 50, 61.8, 78.6. Okay, all the normal ones are in there. Now, let's go to this. Let's just see if anything lines up. So I'm going to take a fib from there to here. Okay. And let's do... wait a second. What the heck happened there? Yeah, that's right. Okay. 38.2, 50, 61.8's out. 78.6 is out. All right, so nothing is lining up, right? Now, let's go over to the medium term. Let's go over to this high, to this low. See, I'm not doing just one, not two. I'm going to go three. Something's got to line up, right? You would think. So let's go, it looks like 61.8. Ah, there we go. There we go. All right. So here's your area to watch. Obviously, can't break through this right now. That's a fib cluster. It's not a real strong one, to be honest with you. 23.6 and a 61.8. I mean, that's not big, huge, right? Probably if it was to make a move, it probably would just blow right through it. This area right up in here, though, would be stronger. 78.6 and a 1272. Yeah. So 25-cent area, that would probably be, if it holds this area and kind of consolidates a little bit, this area right in here, that's the area I would, obviously take some profits. You know what I'm saying? So even though, God, that is such a weird pattern. I mean, I like the V right here. It's a V pattern. So if it's going to turn, I mean, I'll tell you one thing that's kind of making me think a little bit is that this could be like a inverted head and shoulders, right? Head, shoulder, shoulder. But if it's going to go, or what might happen is that it could come down into here and then go off. I would much prefer that it hold this area, right, around 18 cents, and then go. So if you're in it, and let's look at the candlesticks, that's a reversal pattern, right? And I didn't like the fact that it got below that green candle right there. Couldn't stay inside of it. That's not conducive for longs. So could it get down into this area right in here? Let's throw this on here. There you go. So, yeah. Maybe spike into here and then go higher. But the fact that it couldn't make a higher high, it just kind of gives me some pause, right? I mean, it has to. From a technical point of view, it has to give me a little bit of pause. I mean, I'm not saying sell everything right now, but I'm just saying be cautious with your stops and watch, because if I was to do, something like that, that's your area you want to get above. If you can get above that, then it's going to take out that high and more than likely take out that high. But making a higher lows are not good, right? So I'm not saying it's all out bearish or anything like that, but given some time, I mean, I love BAT. I really do. I think it's one of those that, is just going to be good for the long term. It's one of the few, I think, that's going to be good for the long term. ZRX is another. But you got to be cautious with it. If you're playing it like day to day, this will probably just chew you up and spit you out. But just watch this area right in here, right in this area. If it gets below that, probably comes down, tests the lows. But this area right in here, little spike maybe. Got to watch those wicks. Those hunting for stops, because everybody and their dog is probably got stops right in around these moving averages, and especially over here. So watch this area. Watch that area closely. It's kind of what I got on BAT. I mean, I do like the fact that, again, here we go. It's one of those that, and I said I was not a big believer in triple bottoms, right? 1, 2, 3, broke below, but then reversed off of it. So this could be the start of a bigger move upwards. Just seen it too many damn times. All right, guys. Any other chart requests? Let's go check in on what everybody else is doing here with anything else up. Anything doing anything? ICX. Ooh. Okay. ICX. I don't like it. Don't like it right now. I don't like the bearish engulfing. I don't like the fact that the Bollinger Bands are tight and that this just might, especially being up around the upper Bollinger Band, it could be a springboard for downside. Bulls would want to hope to hold 1913. And especially right in here. Yeah. It did this back here and it dropped. Could do this and drop. So maybe this area could be your buying opportunity with a tight stop on ICX. If you wanted to play it. I may watch that one. a little bit closer. NEO, there's one that's been a favorite for a lot of people. And this has just done nothing. Like, just consolidating in this area. So, when I see this, and I see that it's holding that low, if it can hold right here, that's a higher low, and it could get a springboard up. NEO. That goes on watch list. NEO. Big time watch list. Right there. Watch list. Could go sideways for a while. And stochastic RSI, if it gets down to the bottom, it could make a little bit of a move, make you a little bit of money. I would put that one on the watch list. Watch list big time. NEO. Okay, that's NEO. What else do we got? Theta, that was one that was a popular one back when? Back in here? Back in March. That was a cult favorite. And now that it's sold off, guess what? You get it at cheaper prices if you want it. All right? Theta could be one of those that you could pop into and, you know, although you still have this fib cluster down here, you got big time support right in here, double 127.2s. I don't think I've updated this in a while. Yeah, no, it's still holding it. That's the same as it was before. Theta goes on watch list. So Theta and NEO are on watch list. And you notice, and I don't know if anybody is talking about them or not, but at some point, people will start talking about them. There's probably people accumulating right in here. And you're not going to hear about it on crypto Twitter until it gets up into here. And then all of a sudden, everybody's going to be bragging about it. Right? Watch list. Let's just watch for any kind of something. It has a bearish engulfing here, much like BAT. These charts all look the same, right? A lot of them do. Bearish engulfing right here. Let's see if it holds this low. If it can, then higher prices. And by the way, I am so glad I have a vacation day tomorrow because I get to stay up late tonight. All right. Anything else anybody wants to look at? I know everybody's kind of, I'm seeing the viewership go down a little bit, so it looks like people are getting tired. Or maybe I'm just rambling too much. Poly. Oh, look at this. Here's another one. Just kind of like Matic, right? We all saw what Matic did. It's just one of those where the 50 EMA is right there. It could pop above. Keep an eye on Poly. This has been big time resistance coming all the way down. All it takes is one little spike above and you get momentum going, right? Keep an eye on Poly. Poly goes on watch list. Poly, Theta, and NEO all on watch list. All right. Guys, unless anybody else has any other chart requests or questions, I may go ahead and sign off. I'll look at XRP real quick in case anybody is one of those XRP holders. So I broke below. Let's update this XRP chart. I have not updated this one in a while. 38.2 is out, and there we go. Oh, you're welcome, man. My pleasure. My goal is to try to do these more often. I want to try to get out there. The goal is to try to do it at least 3 times a week. So because I just it's much easier for me to express what I'm looking at, and if anybody has questions, I can, instead of copying and pasting a chart, and putting notes on stuff, it's much easier just to show you guys and talk about it live. Here's XRP. This will be the last one of the night, unless anybody has anything else. Hitting the 61.8 retracement and the upper Bollinger Band. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. The stochastic RSI hit right at the top, right in here. 61.8 upper Bollinger Band, overbought indicator. So let's see if it can consolidate a little bit in here. If it can hold these moving averages, right? They're all bunched together. If it can hold those, this thing could bust higher. I mean, it could bust up to 30 cents. Possibly even the 200-day moving average at 32, 33. So this is one that, you see these chart patterns, and a lot of them look similar, right? You see this dip below these lows. It tried to double bottom right here, just went sideways, busted out, and then all of a sudden it broke lower lows. It was almost like a stop hunt, right? But it held the 127.2 retracement. And that's a big reversal zone. 127.2 is a reversal zone, both on the bottom side and the top side. So those are areas you have to watch. 1.272. So anyway, that's what I got for tonight, guys. We'll check in tomorrow. We'll see what's going on, and we'll go from there. Guys, I sure appreciate you coming in. I appreciate your thoughts, and there's going to be some good stuff coming. All right, so we'll get after it again tomorrow and see what we got. Good luck trading, guys. Thanks again.